All right, next up, Heather Powers, the founder and CEO of the Power Lane. Let's give her a round of applause.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Yeah, excellent. So I'm in the unenviable position of following Dr. Rashida Jones. So I'm coming to you from Washington, D.C. But I have to mention that I grew up in New Hampshire, in northern New Hampshire, and southern rednecks might have something, but northern rednecks might challenge that just a little bit. I mention that because I grew up going to Canada, because you all had an 18-year-old drinking age at that point, and so when my mother said, "You're going to Canada, you don't need to have, you're old enough to drink at home." Yes, I know. I'm going to have fun with this group. So I am an organizational leadership expert and a passionate working mother advocate. I'm also a recovering people pleaser. So many of us maybe struggle with that. I'm a former corporate executive, I'm a wife, mom of 2 teenagers, new entrepreneur, and there's just a lot going on. Right? There's a lot going on. So I realized a few years ago I needed something different, and I didn't know exactly what that would be. So like many, I engaged a coach, I talked to a lot of people, and tried to figure out what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to keep working for someone else. I knew I didn't want to keep working for someone else's dreams. I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do and put those energies into that. I realized a few years after that I had followed a process, and I'll share a little bit about that in just a moment. Excellent. So with that, I started using that in my coaching clients and in some of my speaking engagements, and it's proven pretty helpful. So I call it the Finding Your Power Lane. And yes, that's a play off my maiden and married names, but why not use what you have, right?
That's right.
We can keep going. So the power lane is when you find your lane, right? When you figure out what you want to do, you get in the flow. There's no obstacle, there's no issue, there's no naysayer who distracts from where you want to go. You know where you are. I heard a phrase, or I guess it's a phrase, a few years ago. When you're in your lane, there's no traffic. I can't take credit for it. Ava DuVernay, famous American speechwriter, or screenwriter and director, said that, and it really resonated for lots of reasons. Again, when you're in your lane, nothing can distract you. So the framework that I have been using is 3 powers: the power of clarity, the power of choice, and the power to change. The power of clarity is figuring out what you want to do. It's understanding who you are and where you want to go. It's your North Star. It's your roadmap. It's your North Star, your compass. The power of the power of choice. That's right. It's more for the folks. I know the slides. Thank you. The power of choice is figuring out how you get there. It's exploring options. It's understanding paths. It's figuring out what are those steps that are going to help you achieve whatever your vision is. And then the power to change is actually implementing that, right? That's where the magic happens. Implementing where you want to go and how you're going to get there. Change is never easy, right? I've been in consulting for 27 years. I've been a parent for 17. Change is, I should know change, but it wasn't until recently when I really figured out what it means. Change allows you to really get where you want to go. This framework, this power of choice, power of clarity, and the power to change has helped me, and I'm hoping it's something that might be able to help others. So how do we use that? How do we apply those things? As I said, I'm a passionate working mother advocate, and I work a lot with leaders who lead moms. What does that mean? It means leaders who are so talent short. just about any industry that we are in is looking for good talent these days. I think the latest statistic I heard is that for every job out there, for every person looking, there are 2 jobs out there. I'm saying it the reverse way. That means we're never going to fill all the jobs we have because we just don't have the talent. So we should be doing all we can to keep the talent we have, or we're going to keep missing all these opportunities. Well, we have a lot of leaders who haven't really embraced working moms, working dads, any caregiver. Right? The latest statistics are 75% of all employees are a caregiver of some capacity. That's 3/4 of the workforce. So why are we not engaging in figuring out how best to keep the talent we have and to attract the talent we need? So as we think about the 3 powers, what would scenarios be like? Well, I'll share a couple scenarios. They're a bit of an amalgamation of some of my coaching clients. We'll start with the leaders. I'll call the leader Claire, for no reason other than I like the name. So Claire is a leader, leads a division, high expectations, big profit and loss responsibility, and a team that seems to be both dwindling and not performing at their best. Claire has an epiphany, perhaps with a great coach, but she realizes that there's something going on and her old ways of working are just not going to get her where she wants to go. So with the power of clarity, she says, I need help. With the power of choice, she explores options. What could she be doing differently? Light bulb moment, ask her team. What do they need? What do they want? How could they work better? And she comes up with this amazing list of options. Maybe a bit more flexible work schedule, maybe a little more collaboration, maybe some different policies that just don't cost anything even, or cost a little bit, but they really help the team gel. With the clarity, she has those options. The choices, they work together to figure out what ones they're going to implement. Maybe now, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months. Then the change, they actually implement them. And lo and behold, the team comes together, they recruit others, and they're suddenly turned around and are actually meeting their targets, meeting their revenue goals, and actually people are happy, right? Happy employees are productive employees. And if you're not happy, you're not going to be giving it all. So Claire has the epiphany, clarity, choice, change. She's changed the organization. So let's look at the other hand, the working mom. So again, don't know how I come up with these names, they're not real people. But Molly is our mom. So Molly's returning to work, her second child. Her first child, for any moms in here, it's a big deal, right? It's a big change to go from individual contributor or individual person to a mom. Molly also had the benefit of working for a large organization who offered maternity coaching a few years ago. I don't know if any of you have heard of that. Fairly new, but maternity coaching is where new moms get support. Could be as simple as a few meetings, could be a more engaged program. But Molly had the benefit of 3 conversations as she was expecting and alerting her employer, while she was on leave and about to return, and about 6 or 9 months after she returned. Just maybe a 45-minute conversation, check in, how's she doing, what does she need? And she ended up staying there for quite some time. Molly's returning now with 2 kids. And for any parent who has more than 1 child, 2 kids doesn't mean double the work. It's more like quadruple or 10 times the work. So she returns to the office and realizes fairly quickly it's not working as smoothly as after number 1, or as she remembered after number 1. So with the power of clarity, she says, this is not working, I need help. I can't continue working like this. The choice comes again. She brainstorms with her husband, she brainstorms with her colleagues, she brainstorms with her supervisor. And she said, these are the things I need. Let's just start with a flexible work schedule. Let's start with not going into the office Monday through Friday. And she makes the decision to ask her supervisor for those changes. They agree, she tries them, and in 3 months, amazing. Everything's fitting together. I'll never use the word motherhood and balance because that's just not a good combination, or just not reality. But it works. And so that the powers of clarity, choice, and change help Molly integrate, maybe that's a better word, life and work in a much better balance for her. So with those three powers, Claire, Molly, me, others have really found a way to figure out what they want, how best to get there, and then the power to change to get there. When I When I think about the power of clarity, I think about the light bulb, again, the North Star. When I think about the power of choice, I think about the lane you're in and realizing or confirming that's where you should be. Maybe you need to change lanes, or maybe you do a U-turn or completely off-ramp and find another road because you need to be on a different lane. When I think about the power of change, I think about the inner work, the deep work, as we say in coaching, to figure out exactly how you need to get there, what supports you need. If nothing else, realize you don't have to do it alone. You've got this room, you've got your family, your colleagues, you've got a network to support you in whatever that change may be. So I hope you all can find your power lane and figure out where you need to go to accelerate to your best life. Thank you very much.
Give me a sec. Perfect.